with Marnie Hughes.
And thank you for joining us tonight. We are following some breaking news this evening out of Uvalde, Texas. 1 week after a tragedy left 19 children and 2 teachers dead, we are learning tonight that the district's police chief is no longer cooperating with this investigation. Uvalde School Police Chief Pete Arendano has faced criticism for his decision to wait for more resources instead of entering the classroom at Robb Elementary School and confronting the shooter. Authorities with the Texas Department of Public Safety now say the chief has not responded to a request for a follow-up interview into an investigation that was plagued with missteps and inaccurate accounts of the timeline of that day. Correspondent Robert Sherman is live tonight in Uvalde with the very latest on the ongoing investigation. Robert?
And Marnie, Texas DPS setting the record straight that the local school district's police force and the Uvalde Police Department, they are still cooperating with the state of Texas's investigation. It is just Pete Arredondo who has not been returning those requests from the Texas Rangers. So the answers and the calls for accountability continue here. This is also about to be an excruciatingly difficult week for the people of Uvalde, Marnie, as this is the week that they start to say goodbye to 19 children and 2 teachers. This week, it'll be the funerals of 11 of those children and 1 teacher.
As family, friends, and community leaders begin to process their grief, investigators plow ahead trying to find out if police responded in a timely fashion to the shooting. That investigation, led by the Department of Justice, trying to sort out a botched timeline given by local police early after the shooting and in the days to follow. And still, more confusion. The lawyer for a school employee says his clients did prop open a door to carry food inside, but did not leave the door propped open at Robb Elementary School, as police said in their revised timeline of events.
At 11:27, we know from video evidence, 11:27, the exterior door was propped open by a teacher.
San Antonio lawyer Don Flannery isn't identifying his client, but says the employee called 911 about an accident near the school.
That back door is always locked, so I had a rock on the door.
He says, quote, she kicked the rock away when she went back in. She remembers pulling the door closed while telling 911 that he was shooting. She thought the door would lock because that door is always supposed to be locked.
I ran back into my building. I still had the rock on the door. So I opened the door, kicked the rock, and then locked it, and I'm telling the operator, he's got a gun, he's got a gun.
And now Texas authorities again revised their details, saying the teacher did not leave the door propped open before the shooter entered the school. Instead, the door was closed and did not lock. While the investigation is ongoing, the community is looking ahead to what happens after summer break. Some believe the school must come down, that its staying up will serve as a constant reminder of what happened here, and that it's wrong to let young elementary students walk the same halls and learn in the same classrooms where the victims were gunned down. There is precedent for demolishing schools in the wake of shootings. Sandy Hook Elementary in Newtown, Connecticut was the site of a 2012 shooting where 26 people, including 20 children, were killed. That school was razed and rebuilt. On the other hand, others have seen the school as a long-standing institution in the community. People have seen multiple generations of their family come through here, and they're hoping the school will stay so that these grounds are not only marred by horrific memories.
It's always going to be there. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It's always going to have that one memory. But we also have those old memories of when we grew up going to this school.
And local officials have said when the president was here over the weekend, he claimed that he wanted to use federal grant money in order to pay for the demolition of Robb Elementary behind us. But it is still unclear what details might unfold from that and what that might specifically look like. Marnie?
Yeah, delicate and emotional process. Robert, what can you share with us about those who were injured last Tuesday, how they're doing, an update on any conditions?
Well, we did just hear from the hospital, which is holding 3 other victims from this Robb Elementary School shooting, which are still in the emergency room at this time. Well, they're still being treated at this time. We know of a 66-year-old woman. They say that she's in good condition. A 10-year-old girl is in good condition as well, but there's a 9-year-old girl listed as in serious condition. Marnie?
So many hurting tonight. All right, Robert. I want to bring in Dave Ehrenberg now. He's a state attorney in Palm Beach County, Florida, as our guest now. Dave, good to see you. I want to start with the situation with this police chief for the school district. We are now hearing that he is not cooperating, is not responding to a request for a follow-up interview with the lead investigators on this case. What do you make of this?
Yes, good evening, Marnie. It's really troubling because it's one thing to have failures on that tragic day. It's another thing to hide from investigators. You know, as a police officer, you're supposed to abide by the law and you want to comply with those requests to be transparent. But here, it seems like he's hiding. It's a terrible look. The Department of Justice has opened up an investigation, but it is not a criminal investigation. And so he really should start cooperating. I know that he was set to be installed at a different legislative body, but you know, even if he is sworn in, he could still be impeached from that body. So he needs to be careful on how he approaches this because the public opinion is clearly not with him.
Right, and the hope right now is getting answers, right? Understanding the timeline of events. Criminally is one thing. Civilly, what kind of legal consequences could he or the department face here?
Well, elected officials have a version of sovereign immunity in each state. And so it is really difficult to pierce that sovereign immunity if he made a mistake, if he had a bad judgment call. Now, at some point, though, it could rise to a level of civil liability against him personally and criminal exposure, you know, for culpable negligence, for example. But we just don't know enough facts yet. But civilly, you can expect the school district to be sued. It's just a different process when you have to sue someone individually who is acting in their scope of duties. It's much harder to do so, but guaranteed there will be civil lawsuits filed against some of those government entities there, especially the school district.
Dave, as a result of the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in 2018, where 17 people were killed, there were changes to Florida gun laws, tougher restrictions on people, for instance, banning weapon sales to anyone under 21 years old, 3-day waiting period for most long gun purchases, a red flag law. Take us through how those changes came about as the discussion grows louder and louder after the tragedy in Texas.
Marnie, I served in the Florida Senate for 8 years, and I was as shocked as anyone that the Florida legislature, which for years has been beholden to the NRA, passed this comprehensive legislation. It was after the Parkland massacre, and there was a great public outcry to do something. And Governor Rick Scott, a Republican, and the Republican legislature actually pushed through this bill, which outraged the NRA. The NRA lobbyists threatened retribution against those leaders, and it did not happen. So it could be a lesson for Republican leaders elsewhere that, yes, you're going to get pushback, you may get threats, and I'm sure you will, but at the end of the day, most of the public supports gun reform. And in Florida, they instituted what you said, a red flag law, which has been effective. It's now used 5 times every day in our state. They raised the age from 18 to 21 on owning a firearm. And you know what they did? They gave the pro-gun side a bit in the bill to allow for this guardianship program, which allows teachers to be armed when the local governments allow it and they have a certain level of training. That's the kind of compromise you could see with this kind of legislation at a national level. Each side gets something of what they want.
Right. Interestingly, Senator Rick Scott was the chief proponent of that legislation, but says it should be left to the state. So when you look at something to happen in Congress, it seems like an uphill battle. They also, Dave, included a $400 million fee for mental health and Social Security programs. Interestingly, though, the red flag issue, as it is raised in this public forum of debate, some wonder about the constitutionality of it. Walk us through the challenges against that in court.
Marnie, the courts have repeatedly found that red flag laws are constitutional. They provide due process. Now, it exists in about 18 states, and each state seems to do it a little differently. But in Florida, what happens is the police, and only the police, can seek a risk protection order. That's the red flag, where you attempt to take away someone's guns or ammunition temporarily. You can get up to 14 days of getting someone's guns or ammunition, even without the other side being present at the hearing. You just have to show reasonable cause that that individual poses a significant threat to the themselves or others. And then if you want to extend it for up to a year, that's when the party can appear, can have a lawyer, and try to show that no, that person is not a significant threat to themselves or others. And when you want to take away someone's guns or ammunition, not only do you have to have that hearing, but you have to prove that someone's a significant threat by clear and convincing evidence. It's a high burden to reach. And so you have due process protections, but you also have a process to take guns away from people who have not been found guilty of a crime, which would have been really helpful here in this case when you have this 18-year-old in Texas who had no criminal background.
Yeah, some say if it can happen in Texas, these changes to gun laws, it can happen in any state. Dave, we appreciate your time as always. Thank you.
Thank you, Marnie.
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.